Hello, and welcome to the Evolving Expert podcast, where we meet at the intersection of business strategy, conscious leadership, and aligned living to support who you are becoming. I'm your host, Vanessa Emerson, and today we are in conversation with Brandi Hooker Evans. Yay! Let me tell you a little bit about Brandi if you don't know Brandi yet. She is the best-selling author of Dentist, Hygienist, and Cows. Now that title is an eyebrow raiser, and I'm sure that we're going to talk a little bit about that here in a few minutes because we want to know more what those three have in common. She is the founder of StellarOutcomes, which is her consultancy, and she does professional speaking through StellarOutcomes. She's an accredited continuing education provider, and she is the creator of the Stellar Infusion Virtual Study Club, which is just phenomenal. And I really want to be sure we wrap around and talk about that here in a little bit too, at least to let people know a little bit more about how they can find out about that. She is an Idaho country girl hygienist, a registered dental hygienist, and a lifelong advocate for joy and wellness in career and life. One of my favorite things about Brandi, and something I learned about her, I mean, how long have we known each other? Like, it feels like it's been at least a decade. It probably has been
Getting
close.
close, yeah.
I think you'd be really hard pressed to find someone who is more adept at continually finding the silver lining in every situation. I just admire that so much about you. I think that's a real skill set as well as a mindset, but it's about flipping that muscle, right? So when we see something crappy happening that we could call crappy, I think you're just so great at being able to say what could be good here. And that has just really inspired me. So of all of the things we're going to talk about today, I just want to first shine a light on you and thank you for being such a great example of positivity in a way that is so supportive and nurturing and transformative to the people in your life. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being here.
You're so welcome, and thank you for taking a minute to really see me. I do hope that that positivity shines through, not so that I look like a bright light, but so that the room can be a little brighter.
Brighter.
Yeah.
That's it. Because there's the whole there's toxic positivity that people talk about, right? But I don't mean it that way. I mean it in a way of we're always in control of our mind, our mindset. And we'll probably get there in our conversation as well,
We
right?
sure will.
But
And
let,
I think that it's so hard, no matter what vernacular we use, our culture today is ready to put a negative spin on it. And I think that's exactly the antithesis of what you're trying to highlight. Like, if someone is just genuinely happy and supposed to be the light, that is their gift that they're supposed to use. And I think that likewise, and I have some of my best friends like this, are naturally the skeptic and are supposed to be the guardrails of how you can make sure that you're looking at things and that you're protecting yourself or your project or whatever you're doing. So I think it takes both styles of people to blend together so that, yes, I'm adding the light. And my bestie over here is saying, hey, did you think about this and tend to this item? So I think there's a lot of room for both of us types of personality. And I think it's not just two. Obviously, there's, 7 billion styles, but
thank you for modeling exactly what I was talking about and how you have this ability to look at a situation really with a 360-degree view. I feel like it's so fair. And fair is a good word for everyone and loving and kind. But let's jump in because I can't really truly can't wait to share more of the Brandi, the goodness that you have. There's so much, and I don't mean that in a way of I mean the juicy content, the again transformative systems and strategies for teams. But Before we start officially on this podcast, we always start with breath work. And so I would ask you, is there a favorite breath work technique that you would like to share where we could just we could slow down our pace and just land right here in this moment together for a minute or two?
Absolutely. I am new to breath work over the last couple of years because I'm also new to relaxation and balance. So I have found a really simple breath work strategy that I use because it's so easy to remember. And off the top of my head, I don't remember the exact science behind it, but it is definitely to help modulate your nervous system. And in our world, we tend to breathe too many times per minute, like in, out, in, out, in, out. Up to 20 breaths per minute is considered normal, and that's actually not supportive of our systems. So, a 6 count in and a 6 count out. And I do this either eyes open, like if I'm somewhere where I'm supposed to be focusing or paying attention, but I know that's not the best thing for me, is to be breathing. I'll leave my eyes open. So I don't know if that's considered totally honest or not. We'll have to come back to
Well,
that.
that's okay. Can I interject? I mean, that's totally okay because um, I think like softening your gaze is totally comfortable, right?
Right, but sometimes you're supposed to be in that other moment and I just can't. So that's my
Yeah.
full transparency. But if I have the opportunity, what I love to do, Vanessa, is just close my eyes down. And I love to make sure that my hips and my shoulders are aligned. And the other thing is, I tend to have my head forward. I think a lot of us do. So I try to put the back of my skull so that it is aligned with the top of my spine. And then I kind of wiggle a little bit and take a deep breath in. And then I let it out. And then I just start counting to myself. In, two, three, four, five, six. Let it out. Two, three, four, five, six. And then I just keep counting. Two, three, four, five, six. Let it out. Two, three, four, five, six on your own. And one more. And when you're ready, blink your eyes back open.
Yummy. Yummy,
That's
yummy, yummy.
it. It's so simple, but it is a good grounding
Mm,
technique. So,
mm. Thank you for that. Doesn't that feel different than it felt 5 minutes ago? Um,
yes. So here's
um,
another strategy when I am about to do something as far as coaching, speaking, podcasting. I always take a minute to pray where my breath slows down and I do that 6 minute breath and I hope that what we're about to talk about is something that someone needs or a laugh that was really needed and just I try to think and hope and open myself as a vessel to what could be if we were aiming at the highest up. And I'm very ethereal and excitable, Vanessa. So you can imagine that slowing down before I get started is really, really helpful.
oh yeah, yeah. It's about leaning into service too, right? It's about leaning in. I find that thank you for bringing up this strategy because this is such a great place to talk about business and career strategy and life strategy, right? Is that this whole idea, I think often we feel like, before we go into a sales call or something like that, like, oh my gosh, I hope this comes together. I really need this to go. Like it's that whole mindset versus if we set that aside and we take that moment to pray or meditate or journal or that calming, if it's a good fit, if it's the right fit, I would love to serve. If it's a good fit for them, if it's a good fit for me, I would love to serve. It's just a whole different vibe when we go into the stage as speakers or as a sales call or an important interview in a business situation, whatever. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a powerful reminder that we could do all day long. All day long, we can remember whether we're talking to our somebody we're in relationship with, right? Oh my gosh, you got me excited with this one. Thank you. But let's lean back into business strategy. I, I wondered where you'd like to start us with business or career strategies. Like, what is a strategy that you feel is important that has really helped you?
I think that they aren't different. My life strategy, my business, my career strategy, what I have learned as I've celebrated this last September 11 years of having stellar outcomes. I was only 30 years old, and so time ticks by, and what I've found through it all was when my goal was to be successful with money and gigs, and when my goal was to please everyone around me and to be everything to everyone, I was always stressed and working late on Sunday night and working through more anxiety. And what I've found, a couple of really, really powerful points. The first one is that I believe you will get plenty of money to do whatever you're being asked to do. And this is not a surface level answer. I'm saying, what are you on earth for? Why are you supposed to be doing the work? Why were you interested in myofunctional therapy or dental hygiene or dentistry or serving speakers? Why? It's because it's the universe, God, whatever you use for more of a spiritual vocabulary, something in you has been gifted to you and is being called out. And I believe that with every fiber of my being. And when I see people leaning into that, regardless if they use my same vocabulary or not, when I see them leaning into their strengths and their calling and also using their struggles, you talked about crappy situations earlier, and using those type of situations to make the bridges smaller for others, that's when there is no scarcity. That's when there is enough money. When the sales calls go well. And not all of the sales calls go well because they shouldn't. You don't
Right.
want to work with everyone.
That's right.
You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And as, bright, bubbly Brandy, I learned that lesson the hard way. So to add to that, if you are answering the best, brightest part of you, the business is going to be a reflection of that. And so, what I also would say was instrumental in me going to this next level of my career and business in life is truly believing that other people's opinion of me is none of my business. It just isn't.
Love that. Yeah.
There's no way, Vanessa, and believe me, I've tried. I'm not the oldest girl there ever was, but I've put some solid effort into decades of trying to please everyone. And a great example is when I show up trying to be the best speaker that the audience has ever seen, it falls flat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I know that I'm going to do what I am asked to do and lean into whatever the morning or the afternoon or the full day would bring us at its best, at its highest ability, that's when the sparkle and the magic happens. And it's the best class you've ever taught. And the audience thinks it's the best class they've ever been to. And And it's all the application skills and the reviews down the road that say how well they were able to take it back to the office. And still, even at those junctures, there is always one or two or maybe even three people in the audience that couldn't. There was nothing that you could say or do that would make them happy, and you'll get a 0-star review. Your dress was ugly, you were too bright, you
Like your hair.
were ridiculous on jumping on the chair, etc., etc., etc. So I really want to share with your community that if you can let go of that, if you can know that no matter what you do, if you are aiming up as high up as you can, you're going to do the most good possible.
And be authentic with yourself right now. So I heard that like aim for the best you can be and just be who you be.
Yes, who is that?
Yeah.
But, for this girl, I am loud. I think I'm hilarious. I start going down of who I am and what I am, and I learned along the way of
I love that.
realizing that what other people thought of me wasn't my business, that I really like me. That was hard to get to because, we don't always talk about how important it is to be who you want to be and who you're meant to be so that you will like the person that is smiling back at you in the mirror.
Do you think too what happens is that your people find you? It's like when you just lean into who you be, it may not be the group that you may have originally been shooting to be a part of, but like your people find you, like people that, and it's because of that authenticity and um, waving your freak flag. Is that what people say? It's like just be who you be,
Yeah,
and like and here's the thing. It's not like we're shading anybody who doesn't want to be our friend, right? It's more of like that's great. You go do you boo. But the happiness comes from being ourselves.
right. And
Yeah.
so, as you say that the people find you, so do the opportunities.
Yes.
So, when I'm asked to speak at a conference, to coach with an office, to be a part of any type of project, people come to me looking for the fun and the excitement and that maybe get you a little bit out of your box and get everyone off of their chair and to have fun and great science and actual how do we use this? This is so cool. How do we go back to work on Monday morning without spending a dime and make magic happen for ourselves, our patients, or the people that we're seeing? And so, what I've noticed in the last couple of years where I have not been seeking out, like I haven't been cold calling, maybe would be the best way to say. Like my career for coaching and speaking in the last couple of years has only been word of mouth. And it took a long time to build to that. I'm not saying that at the beginning of your career you don't cold call and do things like that. But what I'm saying is as I've gotten better at being me and whatever that happens to look like in that season, the opportunities that come to me are very aligned. I mean, I was just in a study group with the Fort Collins, Colorado, the periodontist puts on a couple of these study clubs a year. And I had a room of 50 well-engaged, fun professionals that were ready to have a good time and talk hygiene and didn't have their arms twisted to be there.
Yeah.
Same thing, a couple weeks before that, I was in Wheeling, West Virginia, and it was this beautiful at West Liberty dental hygiene school, and it was dentists and hygienists and a couple of team members. A room of, I think 100 is such a great size. It's not big, it's not small.
Yeah.
And I mean, the people are, man, my cheeks hurt from smiling so much, and everyone's ready to just have a good day. And so those types of groups where they're ready to participate, they're ready to talk about the yucky parts of dentistry, they're ready to, oh gosh, maybe I'm part of the problem. Those are the types of opportunities
That come.
that come because I'm aligning with
Love that.
who I am and what I'm being. And if you're hoping for an 8-hour dissertation in the school teachers from Wonder Year's voice, that's not me. That
Yeah.
I can't deliver on that. And if you are that, then that's good, but we are going to be called to different opportunities based on our style, neither being better, just different.
Sure. So the strategy here is be yourself and lean into your purpose or your dharma is what I'm hearing. Because I'm hearing in there, um, we have the best chance of feeling fulfilled in our life through our career by being in a career where we lean into our purpose, like the reason we're here. So what I'm hearing and all of that, and this piece of authenticity. That is so lovely. Can we
So,
talk? Oh, please go ahead. You're going to say
well,
something.
I was going to say, here's a good example of it. One of the core purposes of why I've been called to be a coach, a speaker, a leader of my team, all of those things is because individualized care is critical in dentistry now more than ever before. We have more inflammation, only in the mouth, but in the body than ever before. We also have more patients seeing their dental professionals more often than their physicians or other holistic healers. So, about double. And so there is a system that I have found had a lot of help with, it's an ongoing process, but essentially my calling is to teach people how to provide individualized care. My goal at the end of assessment for a dentist or a hygienist is for the patient to be able to diagnose their own disease because we took them through the process that gifted them their autonomy. So when they leave our office, not only are they doing what we think that they ought to be doing to get rid of that stinking disease, but they're also now accountable for their health and their wellness moving forward as a total human being rather than in trouble for not brushing and flossing and having too many soda pops. So you can imagine if you're looking at a practice with one doctor, 2 to 3 hygienists, they're going to see somewhere around 5,000 people in a year, roughly. And if we can get even half of that 5,000 people to be interested in caring for themselves as a whole, and the way that will blossom out to their
Yeah.
friends, to their family, to their children. We're talking about monumental difference with one small tweak, one small thing. And so it's my job to teach people how to do that. And so that is where my book comes into play. My book is essentially the coaching program that I developed rolled into 150-page book. My goal with the book was if you read this book with your team, then it would be the same idea as having me in to coach your office, right?
Wow, that's great.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, that's great.
I'm
Mhm.
I'm super proud of it. So it's
Yeah.
called Dentists, Hygienists, and Cows because
Yeah.
it takes the whole team to stop hurting cattle and start treating patients individually. And then what's so fun about herding cattle is this on I really love cows. My friend has a farm. It's about 20 minutes away. So when I need a little cow love and pick me up or the photo shoot, it's out at the Klinger Farms in Rockland, Idaho. And or I guess they're
I
closer
love
to
cows
American
too.
Falls. Sorry, American Falls. These cows have been treated with love and individuality that they are more like dogs. So I'm out in the pasture behind the hot wire fence with a dozen of these, 1 to 2 ton animals, hand feeding them.
Oh yeah, cows are gentle.
because
Yeah, I
but
feel,
they've been loved well, so these
yeah,
cows aren't scared. And just like if we love our patients well, I mean,
yeah.
obviously, I don't want my patient to necessarily eat the apple or the graham cracker out of my hand, but I do want my patient to go home and look in the mirror and think, you know what? I am worth taking care of.
Mhm, mhm. I just love this so much because I mean, the book, there's going to be so many strategies ultimately in there, but it goes back to like, how do we care for and nurture our patients in a way that's really going to help transform lives? Now, that is super powerful. Now, I happen to know that this book is on Audible now. Oh, that is so exciting.
It has been my life's dream. So I love reading. I love listening to books. I love turn your
Me too.
mind off romance to science to self-help. I mean, you name it. And when I read and performed my book and it came back on Audible and it says, "This is Audible." Oh my goodness, Vanessa. It was one of the proud. I listened to that maybe 3 times in a row in the first 5 minutes of my having the file. I was just so proud of it. And that's a good segue into, one of the other items you and I have talked about previously and have been in conversation with is knowing what season of your career you're in and your life so that you can balance them both together. You've had a lot of experience with this. So I've been raising children. As we sit at the end of 2025, I am looking at 18 months before all four of my children will be grown and out of the house.
Wow. No way.
I know. Oh. So let's talk business. I have known in the last couple of years that it was very important for me to be present for my family. In addition to Stellar Outcomes, my husband and I have a dental practice in Pocatello, Idaho, that I am a very active, it's big role over there at Evans Dental. So I decided through counsel of several of our colleagues and friends, and you being one of them, that it was more important for me to be present with my family than it was for me to be burnt out and the highest level of quote success as a speaker and a coach. And so along the way, I learned that writing a book was a wonderful way to basically put a little time capsule on your soul and your work. It's great for legacy. It's great for advertising. There's a million reasons why you would want to write a book if you felt called to write a book. And so I chose to write the book as it was fun and as inspiration came to me. So I had can't believe I don't have one sitting right here, a notebook, just a plain grocery store spiral notebook, and I had outlined the chapters I wanted to do. And when I would see a patient or be at a coaching experience or a speaking opportunity, and the chapter would have been bubbled up as the most important or the most interesting thing to me, then I would write the chapter for fun.
Oh, okay. Great.
And there's a lot of our colleagues who are feeling guilty that they don't have their book done yet. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
what if you took the pressure off yourself and just wrote the book as the genius came to you, just as it
Nice.
flowed in?
Nice.
So I did that, and then we got to the point where it was time to publish the book. So we did the book launch, and it was really, really fun, but I did it on my own terms. So it wasn't hindering the rest of my life, but it was also putting a lot of work in the bank, right? Because you get a lot of jobs when you're an author, even if it doesn't turn into an Amazon bestseller, which it's really fun when it does. So definitely highly recommend on that. But that is such a good seed planter when you need to have something coming for later. It's good work, but it was fun for me. So it was the kids are all busy. I'm out on the back porch with a cup of coffee or a glass of wine or a sparkling water, and it just came to me. And so then the book gets out into the world, and I'm able to use it to either turn up my opportunity or let it rest. And then same thing now. I recorded the book this summer. It was so fun. Brett Shear was amazing. We had so much fun recording the book. It's on Audible now. I haven't done a lot of promotion yet because I know that I need to protect this 18 months, but I've got this project and this opportunity that is all locked and loaded, ready for me to go. So part of my business strategy was having fun, being myself, writing when it came to me, publishing it when it was appropriate, which has also subsequently kept enough work in line that I'm able to make enough to pay the bills, et cetera, all of those
Right.
things. And
Mhm.
at the end of this time frame, I have all of these seeds planted. All I have to do is, like Victoria Peterson would say, you just turn the gas up on your career and it'll be a
Yeah.
season of life for me. So I would encourage the community to know, like, are you in a harvest season where it's work sun up to sundown and Sunday night? Or are you supposed to be enjoying all the little things that are going on around you and just planting a couple of seeds so that later when it's more appropriate, you can get to work?
I love that. Thank you for sharing that, because I do think you're absolutely right that often entrepreneurs, especially those in our area of the world with speaking consulting, being an influencer, being an educator of some sort at some level, feel like there's so much we need to do, we think, but we don't have to do it all. And what I really appreciate from what you've just shared is that you're modeling the importance of being mindful of where you're at in this season in your life and loving and leaning into that while simultaneously listening to those whispers of, ooh, that would be something really great to put in the book. I just love that you created at that time. It makes me think about we have so many tools now available to us to be able to do that super quickly as well and capture that, whether, using technology and all that to capture those thoughts and tuck them away and be able to generate that book. Just love that. Thank you. So your book is on Amazon, Dentist, Hygienist, and Cows, Brandi Hooker Evans. You'll be able to just Google it and find it. I will put the link in the show notes. So it's a paperback and an Audible version, right? I know, isn't that so fun? Oh, that is so fun. Congratulations on that. And of course, if someone wants to find out a little bit more about you, and we go to brandyhookerevans.com would be the website too to learn a little bit more about you. I feel like you are truly an example of conscious leadership. To me, that's meaning someone who's very like self-aware, someone who's good at self-directed leadership, who's self-managed, who like we started by talking about this today, like managing our thoughts and how we show up in the world. As we think of conscious leadership, and I mean, certainly you have a leadership role in so many capacities that we've already talked about. Uh, what is one leadership moment that shaped you, or one leadership principle that you would share with our audience today?
I believe that being a leader is a little bit innate in almost everything that we do. And when you're more of a leader of the business or I'm a leader in the profession, I think the most important thing that we can do is to show up and see people and love them right where they're at. I have the most positive effect of my team in Pocatello, Idaho, when I show up and ask them how their day was and be with them and chat with them. And as the topics of patient care or whatever come up, I listen to what they have to say and what they're experiencing. And we talk about the funny missteps. And I think that often we look at leadership as we're trying to get people to go a certain way or do a certain thing. And the way that I look at leadership is I want to help inspire everyone to be their very best self because they're leading themselves, their patients, their family. And so my job as a leader is to help grow them as leaders. And sometimes it's as simple as just being seen. Like this morning when you told me that you saw that I was a light of positivity, that was so precious and such a treasure of my heart and is going to make my day and my week and my life better. And I'm going to hang on to that. My soul's going to hear that. And that leadership that you just bestowed upon me was very much more effective than any, like, oh, Brandi, you should sign up for this AI tool and do this. Like, what you provided to me by seeing me is going to influence how I talk to the rest of the people I interact with today, how I operate in my own life, and how confident that I am in my ability to be portraying who I really am and being authentic and present in the world. So that would be my invitation as the most important leadership role is to see and support the people around you, regardless of what their role or title might be.
Sometimes the way to get to the goal is not from A to B, right? And so what I'm hearing you saying is because we all show up messy, right? We all have our messy lives.
For
And
sure.
so what I'm hearing you say is that no matter what the situation is that we're talking about, that idea of remembering that everyone is going through their own messy middle of dealing with things. And what I'm hearing you say is to, again, it's like finding the silver lining. That that whole idea of like recognizing the brilliance or the gift that people bring and to nurture that is such a fabulous way to lead and to have everyone feel they belong and that they're part of something bigger than them. That's that's really beautiful. Thank you. That touched my heart. It's an interesting time where it feels, I think social media has brought this to a head where it's such an easy time to tear people down, people
Yeah.
we don't even know. And this is the antithesis of that, right? This is the exact opposite of instead of recognizing just inherently because we are human beings,
Mhm.
that there's a spark of divinity in each of us. And if we can remember that, that's that conscious awareness piece that you've just, thank you.
First of all, I don't think that we were all meant to have megaphones. I think there's a reason some people are called to actual leadership and some people that just aren't. I'm not saying that no one's voice is less important. I'm saying that a megaphone on everyone's whim and thought is not helpful.
No, I agree.
And
That was funny though.
it's true. See, you think I'm funny too. I
I
think I'm
do.
hilarious. But so when we look at time and civilizations for the last several thousand years, and we've been able to look at how humans interact and the rise and fall of societies and how this all goes, what we have learned, and it goes back to the balance and the yin and yang type of situation, that if there is too much, and I'm just going to use conservative and liberal because that's like on everyone's mind right now. If you have too much conservatism, there is pathology and toxicity that comes with that. And if you have too much liberalism, the same is true over there. And so the idea, just like I said, some people are skeptics and some people are innately positive. This is the same idea that there's supposed to be checks and balances. And the majority of people on both sides are in the middle of both sides. But what we hear, the way that social media is set up, is the megaphone of the teeny tiny outliers. And you've seen the picture where everyone's mad at this dog because this dog is killing this lamb and it's got its mouth on the lamb's neck, and we think that mean dog, and then they zoom out. And I can't even say it without choking up. And the dog is saving the lamb's life. But
Oh,
because we chose not to look at the whole story, we missed the whole point.
yeah.
And so that is true. And we're looking at politics and other people's opinions and what you think about this topic or that topic. The reality is that there are so many what ifs and individual back to dentists, hygienists, and cows. We're all individuals. And so picking policy and things that are best for the most people requires people from both sides and everywhere in between to sit down and figure out together, looking at the front side and the back side of the top side and the underside and figuring out together. And it really is going to mean that no one person is going to be absolutely delighted with everything we come up with. That's true for
No.
politics, dentistry, your home life, your marriage, with the kids, how clean should they keep their room? I mean, there's pathology to my way. I want everything put together and everything smelling like it's brand newly painted house. And the messy middle of I'm a 17-year-old boy and I need to know that my three sweatshirts are lined up in a pile and then twisted around and in the corner.
I know where they are, Mom.
I know exactly where they are. Both my kids that still live in the house have told me that they really appreciate when their room is like the perfect amount of messy because they know where everything is at. And I am dying a slow, painful death, but I have to let them experience it because why is my version better than theirs? It's not, but I do hope that they learn from me that keeping your space clean is good for your health. And I hope to learn from them that sometimes you got to just drop that sweatshirt on the floor because we don't need to do one more thing.
Yeah, yeah. We are in a really important time. Um, and it's so interesting how social and politics and all that creep into so many conversations. And I think it's all going to be fine. We're going to figure it
Yes.
out because I really believe in humanity and I really believe in the goodness of people. And that said, we're in an important time for us to even just talk about and consider these.
Yeah.
The
And
what the
consider
what's
someone
counting.
else's side and where they come from. And one of the things that I've learned to be true is I've watched all of this unfold as I look at people on both sides of that quote fence. Their goal and their heart is in the same place. Both sets of people want to do good. They want people to be well. They want to live a good life themselves. And so the more we can sit with the discomfort of those that we disagree with. I mean, honestly, Vanessa, in my career, I would not be able to sit here as a speaker and a coach and a business owner with so much joy and delight without the things that made me the most uncomfortable. I am a better speaker for the days where I got it wrong. I'm a coach in the first place because I watched my own patients get disease under my watch as the only hygienist in a new practice. For the first several years of my career, I thought I was providing the best care possible and my heart was in the right place, but I did not acknowledge inflammation the way that I needed to because I didn't want it to be uncomfortable in that moment for the patient. And the consequence of that long term was so much worse than discomfort for 5 minutes in the dental chair with a hard conversation. So those hard parts where we're sitting with people that we disagree with is where the juicy, exciting, how we're serving the most people comes through. And again, it doesn't matter. I use politics because it's an easy slam
Yeah,
dunk. People can understand that.
people are inflamed politically right
Yeah.
now,
And
right?
it's been that way since about when Facebook got popular. It started going downhill at about
Really didn't
2010
help.
to 2012. So it doesn't matter if the left or the right are in office. It doesn't matter what this or this is doing. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. People are inflamed because
Inflamed.
we're choosing an inflammatory life. And so my invitation, and maybe the reason I was supposed to sit with you today, is for us all to go to that 6 count breath breathing and
Yeah,
remember that we are all, no matter how different you are from me, just trying to have a good life.
I love that. Well, Brandy, we're gonna wrap us up here in a moment, but before we go, I mean, we've talked about conscious leadership, and then I'm hearing some aligned living principles in here too with everything we've talked about. Is there anything important around this idea of the wellness piece, right? The choices of living in alignment. Is there one short and sharp principle that you would share with us around that?
Yep. It's the homework. Instead of scrolling, Google the endocannabinoid system, ENDOCANN. Hold on, I have to spell it
We'll
out.
put it in the show
And
notes.
then ABINOID. There we go. I was
No,
like, oh, I almost had that spelled out. Anyway, Google the endocannabinoid system. It is our system that is responsible for homeostasis. It is a new scientific find from the 90s. It's not in medical schools yet, and I'm excited for it to be. And the way that you support your endocannabinoid system that produces homeostasis, that's that feel-good balance feeling we've been talking about today, is to eat, move, sleep, connect, and challenge yourself. And if you
oh,
can do those five things of ancient wisdom, your endocannabinoid system is going to thrive, and so will you and your soul.
oh, I love that.
It is one of my favorite things to teach on. I have a course on the endocannabinoid system, and it is so jazzy because everyone wants a magic wand, and the reality is we have one. It's inside of us, and the way that we support it is by eat, move, sleep, connect, and challenge yourself.
You know, that's Ayurveda in a nutshell.
Right.
I'm really 5,000-year-old ancient
It is. It's
lifestyle medicine,
Yep, it's
yeah,
ancient Chinese wisdom.
all the
It's in the
things.
Bible. It's in you name it. We've had this information for a few thousand years because I think if we're willing to listen, the answers are here.
Otherwise, we look for a pill, right?
Yeah.
Or we look for like that quick fix, but really you're absolutely, I love that. Love, love, love that. Is there anything we didn't talk about today that we should cover before we wrap it up?
Well, as one of my favorite humans on the planet, I think the real question is how to wrap it up on time because I could keep you without fail. So, thank you for being such a beautiful part of my journey to be sitting with you today. You have provided endless support in so many different ways. So, I just would like to honor and thank you for the difference that you're making in our world. And it's not just me. I've watched so many of my friends live a better life for having you in it as a friend, but also as a guide. So thank you.
Thank you, Brandi. It means a lot to me. And expansion's coming up right here around the first of the new year. So I thought maybe we could end on that note as we come out of a really fabulous conversation that is in alignment with the vibe and the feel of that expansion experience happening January 8th through 10th of 2026 here in Phoenix. We have a 3-day, really, it's an experience. Yes, we're in a hotel ballroom for part of it, but it's not like any other meeting you'll ever attend. It's really focused on,
Nurturing you.
I was taking that deep breath for that. Thank you for the nurturing you. It's about filling up your buckets. It's for I find for professionals who run all year long, and we end up at the year like, oh, end of the year, like, thank heavens it's the holidays because we can finally, like, you and I were talking before we started, this busy fall where Brandy's speaking and she's doing all these things. It's like finally having a moment to spend some time with family and reconnect. This is for just you to come and sit with others who are similar minded, who seek that pause, that moment to fill your buckets, to recharge, to set yourself up for the year ahead. Go to betheexpansion.com. You can learn a little bit more about this meeting. I think this is our 7th meeting. We've been doing this a little while, and it's just really a favorite. Come be a part of the group. Dentist, hygienist, and cows, Amazon book and Audible form. One thing we didn't talk about, I want to be sure we just mention before we head out, especially for our dental professionals here in the group. I am so proud for you with what you've built with your Stellar Infusion virtual study club. I mean, girl, you are really killing it, and that in a positive way. With the guests you bring in, clinical and practice management and wellness oriented focus. And so a chance for our dental professionals to earn ongoing continuing education credits. And I just really want to encourage everyone to check out at brandyhookerevans.com, the Stellar Infusion Virtual Study Club. We probably should have you back another time in the future to talk a little bit more about topics that are oriented around that. But we are going to have to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for being here, Brandi. It's always, always a pleasure. If we were going to reach out via email, best email for you is StellarOutcomes at outlook.com. You can find Brandi on all the social platforms where you're going to find positive messages. I think I should add after our social conversation just now. But thank you again for so much for being here. Everybody have a great week, and we'll look forward to seeing you in a future episode. Be sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss in the future. Be well. And thanks again, Brandi.